Pain is a part of life. No one escapes it. It comes in many forms: heartbreak, loss, failure, rejection, sickness, disappointment. It is the shadow that follows every man and woman, whispering doubt, fear, and despair. Many believe that pain is their enemy, that it is something to be avoided, to be pushed away, to be numbed. But pain, when embraced with faith, can become the very thing that propels you into a life of greater strength, deeper purpose, and unwavering resilience. Life has never promised to be easy. The world will break you, and if you are not careful, it will convince you that you are too weak to stand again. It will tell you that you are nothing more than your failures, that you are defined by your suffering. The weight of grief will try to hold you down. The sting of betrayal will leave you doubting the goodness in people, and the burden of regret will whisper that your past mistakes have ruined any hope for your future. But that is not the truth. The truth is that pain is not here to destroy you, it is here to refine you. There are those who allow pain to consume them, to harden their hearts, to make them bitter, to turn them into people they were never meant to be. They let anger rule them, let sorrow steal their joy, let disappointment turn them away from the path they were called to walk. But there are others, those who take their pain and use it as a foundation to build something greater. They do not deny their suffering, but they refuse to let it define them. They take their wounds and let them become the testimony of their triumph. You may have fallen, but you are not meant to stay down. You may have been broken, but you are not beyond repair. You may feel weak, but within you is the strength to rise. Every scar you carry is not a sign of your defeat, but a symbol of your survival. You have made it through things that should have destroyed you. You have endured storms that should have drowned you. And yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still moving forward. That is not by accident. There is something greater waiting for you, something beyond the suffering you have known, something that can only be reached if you refuse to let pain be your prison. Pain is a teacher. It reveals what you are made of. It strips away the illusions of control and reminds you that you are not in this life alone. It teaches you humility, for there are moments when you cannot carry your burdens alone. It teaches you empathy, for only those who have suffered can truly understand the pain of others. It teaches you gratitude, for when you have walked through darkness, you will never take the light for granted again. Pain does not come to destroy, it comes to shape. You may wonder why suffering is necessary. Why must the innocent bear heavy burdens? Why do the good face trials that seem unbearable? Why do the dreams of the faithful sometimes shatter before their eyes? It is because through suffering we are refined. Gold must be purified by fire. Diamonds are created under pressure. Strength is built through resistance. If life were easy, if there were no struggle, no hardship, no heartbreak, there would be no growth, no transformation, no depth to the soul. Those who have known great pain are often the ones who have the greatest capacity for love, for understanding, for wisdom. There is a choice before you. You can allow pain to make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. You can let it push you into despair, or you can let it lift you into purpose. You can dwell on what was lost, or you can step forward into what is waiting for you. You may not see it now, but your suffering has meaning. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt is not wasted. You are being shaped, prepared, strengthened for something beyond your understanding. Look at history. Look at the lives of those who have endured unimaginable trials and yet emerged stronger, wiser, more determined than ever. They were not spared from suffering. They did not escape hardship, but they chose to turn their pain into power. They refused to be victims. They refused to be defeated. And you have that same power within you. You may think your story is over. You may believe that there is nothing left for you, that the weight of your struggles is too great to bear. But the greatest victories are born out of the greatest battles. The darkest nights give birth to the most radiant dawns. What seems like the end is often just the beginning. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. There is strength in your bones, fire in your spirit, and a destiny waiting for you on the other side of your suffering. Do not let pain make you afraid to live. Do not let sorrow steal your joy. Do not let failure convince you that you are not worthy of success. The road ahead may not be easy, but it is worth walking. Every step forward is a declaration that you will not be defeated. Every breath you take is proof that you still have a purpose to fulfill. You are more powerful than you know. Not because you have never suffered, but because you have suffered and survived. You have faced the fire and walked through it. You have felt the weight of the world, and yet you still rise. That is power. That is strength. That is the unshakable spirit that nothing in this world can take away from you. Do not waste your suffering. Do not let it be in vain. Use it. Let it drive you to be better, to love deeper, to live fuller. Let it give you the wisdom to guide others, the compassion to lift the broken, the courage to face whatever comes next. You are not defined by what has happened to you, but by what you choose to do with it. Your pain is your power. It is not your enemy, it is your ally. It is the force that can propel you forward, the fire that can refine you, the lesson that can lead you to your true purpose. Do not fear it. Do not run from it. Embrace it, rise from it, and use it to become everything you were meant to be. Pain has a way of stripping a person down to their core, revealing who they truly are when everything else is taken away. It has the ability to test the spirit, to shape the foundation, and to challenge every belief held about strength, perseverance, and purpose. Many see pain as a force that limits, a burden that weighs down the soul and keeps them from moving forward. But pain is not meant to be a prison, it is meant to be a forge. It is the fire that refines, the pressure that strengthens, the struggle that awakens the deepest part of the self. It is in pain that true purpose is often found, in hardship that true character is revealed. And those who embrace their suffering, who do not run from it, but allow it to shape them, are the ones who rise above their circumstances and go on to impact the world in ways they never imagined. Some of the most powerful voices in history, the ones who have inspired, led, and changed the course of humanity, did not come from places of comfort and ease. They were not people who lived without suffering. They were people who had walked through fire, who had been shattered by life's storms, who had felt the depths of despair and still chose to stand. They were individuals who refused to let their pain be the thing that silenced them. Instead, they took their suffering and used it to ignite something greater within them. They found meaning in their struggles, purpose in their hardships, and through that they changed lives. There is something unique about those who have known deep pain. They carry an understanding that cannot be taught in books, a wisdom that cannot be gained through theory alone. They have felt the weight of suffering, and because of that, they have the ability to connect with others who are struggling in ways that others cannot. They see through the masks that people wear, the forced smiles, the empty reassurances. They recognize pain in others because they have lived it themselves, and that recognition allows them to reach people on a level that is deeper than words, deeper than surface-level encouragement. It allows them to impact lives in ways that only those who have suffered can. Pain has a way of creating purpose, of directing a person toward a calling that may never have been discovered otherwise. The most powerful missions are often born from personal suffering. The one who has known the loneliness of rejection becomes the person who welcomes the outcast. The one who has known the darkness of depression becomes the light for others who feel lost. The one who has battled illness becomes the voice of hope for those still struggling. The one who has faced failure time and time again becomes the example of perseverance for those who want to give up. The experiences that once seemed unbearable become the very thing that fuels a purpose far greater than personal ambition. There is a fire that pain ignites, a hunger that suffering creates, a determination that is forged in struggle. When a person has endured the worst and survived, they begin to realize that there is nothing left to fear. The pain they have known removes the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment. It strips away the need for validation, the concern for what others think, the hesitation that holds so many back. It creates an urgency, a deep knowing that life is too short to waste, that the time to act is now, that the purpose placed within them is not meant to be ignored. They understand that what they have been through was not just for them, that their suffering was not in vain, that their pain can be the very thing that brings healing, encouragement, and transformation to others. There are people in this world who are waiting for someone like you to rise up, to take what you have been through and turn into something that serves others. There are people who need to hear your story, to see your strength, to know that they are not alone. There are those who are walking through the same darkness you once knew, searching for a light, longing for proof that there is something beyond their suffering. You are that proof. Your survival, your resilience, your refusal to be defeated is the very thing that will inspire them to keep going. Every hardship, every setback, every moment of despair is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to develop a strength that cannot be shaken. It is an opportunity to take what was meant to break you and use it to build something greater. It is an opportunity to turn your wounds into wisdom, your struggles into success, your pain into purpose. There are countless ways to take what you have been through and use it to impact others, but it requires a choice. It requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to see pain not as a curse, but as a gift that has the power to transform not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. Pain creates depth. It creates resilience. It creates an understanding of life that cannot be gained any other way. It tears down illusions, removes false securities, and forces a person to confront their own weaknesses. But in doing so, it also reveals hidden strengths, untapped potential, and a capacity for greatness that might have remained undiscovered without the struggle. Those who embrace this truth, who refuse to let pain make them bitter, who choose instead to let it make them better, are the ones who leave a lasting impact on this world. The road of suffering is not easy, but it is one that leads to something greater. It is the path walked by those who refuse to settle for an existence of mediocrity, those who refuse to let their past define their future, those who understand that the pain they have endured has equipped them for something far beyond themselves. It is the path of leaders, of visionaries, of those who rise above their circumstances and create something meaningful out of their struggles. There are those who spend their lives running from pain, numbing it, avoiding it, pretending it does not exist. But pain that is ignored does not disappear. It lingers, it festers, it grows. It becomes the weight that drags a person down, the silent force that controls their decisions, their emotions, their ability to move forward. But when pain is faced head on, when it is embraced as part of the journey rather than something to be feared, it loses its power to control. It becomes a tool rather than a torment, a source of strength rather than a source of suffering. It is not an easy thing to take pain and turn it into purpose. It requires courage. It requires faith. It requires a willingness to step beyond comfort, beyond fear, beyond the limits that have been placed upon you. It requires a decision to see pain not as the end of something, but as the beginning. It requires the understanding that everything you have been through has prepared you for this moment, that nothing was wasted, that every trial was a lesson, every hardship a stepping stone, every moment of despair a chance to build something greater. There is a reason you have endured what you have endured. There is a reason you are still here, still standing, still breathing. There is a reason the fire did not consume you, the storm did not destroy you, the pain did not defeat you. There is something within you that is stronger than you realize, something that has carried you through the darkest of times, something that is waiting to be fully awakened. And when you decide to take everything you have been through and use it as fuel to create something meaningful, there will be no limit to the impact you can have. You are not here by accident. Your struggles were not for nothing. There is power in your pain, purpose in your suffering, strength in your scars. You have a choice. You can let what you have been through hold you back, or you can let it propel you forward. You can let it make you a victim, or you can let it make you a leader. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. There are people who need what you have to offer. There are lives that will be changed because of your story. There are hearts that will be healed because of your resilience. There are futures that will be shaped because of your decision to rise. There is something inside of you that the world needs, something that only you can give, something that has been forged in the fire of your struggles. And when you decide to use it, when you decide to take your pain and turn it into something greater, there will be no force on this earth that can stop you. Your pain is the fire that refines you, the force that breaks you open so that something greater can emerge. It is not meant to destroy you, but to shape you. It is not meant to bury you, but to awaken you. Pain has a way of reaching into the deepest part of your soul and exposing everything that is weak, everything that is fragile, everything that is not built to last. It reveals what must change, what must grow, what must be strengthened. It forces you to confront yourself, to strip away illusions, to see who you truly are when everything else is taken away. And in that place, in that raw, unfiltered reality, you are given a choice. You can allow pain to pain you, to make you bitter, to keep you trapped in suffering. Or you can rise. You can take what has broken you and use it to build something greater. You can take the darkness you have known and use it to shine a light for others. You can take your pain and transform it into power. There are those who run from pain, who seek to numb it, to drown it out, to pretend it does not exist. But pain that is ignored does not disappear. It lingers, it festers, it seeps into every part of life, controlling thoughts, shaping actions, dictating choices. It becomes the silent force that holds people back, that keeps them from reaching their potential, that convinces them they are not capable, not worthy, not strong enough. But those who face pain, who stand in the fire and refuse to be consumed, who choose to let it mold them rather than destroy them, are the ones who rise above, the ones who become more than they ever imagined possible. There is a version of you that exists beyond your suffering, a version that is stronger, wiser, more resilient. This version of you is not held back by fear, not controlled by doubt, not paralyzed by past wounds. This version of you understands that every hardship was a lesson, every struggle a test, every moment of despair an opportunity to grow. This version of you does not see pain as a punishment, but as preparation. Preparation for something greater, something deeper, something more meaningful than the life you have known before. But to reach that version of yourself, you must be willing to walk through the fire. You must be willing to endure, to push forward when everything in you wants to give up. You must be willing to see your pain not as the end, but as the beginning of something powerful. Pain is a doorway. It is an entrance into a new understanding, a new awareness, a new strength. It strips away comfort, removes the false sense of security, forces you to rely on something deeper, something unshakable within you. When everything else has been taken, when every illusion has been shattered, what remains is the core of who you are. And it is in that moment that you discover your true power. Not the power that comes from external validation, not the power that comes from temporary success, but the power that is forged in suffering, the power that cannot be taken away, the power that comes from rising despite the weight of the world pressing down upon you. Those who have known pain deeply, who have suffered in ways others cannot understand, have been given a gift. It may not feel like a gift in the moment. It may feel like a burden, like a weight too heavy to carry. But hidden within that suffering is something priceless. It is the ability to see beyond the surface, to recognize struggle in others, to connect in a way that only those who have truly suffered can. It is the ability to stand where others fall, to endure where others quit, to push forward when everything says to stop. It is the ability to transform suffering into strength, to take what was meant to break you and use it to build something that lasts. There is something unshakable about those who have risen from deep pain. They walk differently, they speak differently, they carry a wisdom that cannot be taught, a strength that cannot be faked. They have faced the worst and survived. They have been broken and put themselves back together, piece by piece, stronger than before. They have seen the darkness and refused to let it consume them. And because of that, they are unstoppable. Pain forces you to make a decision. It forces you to either break or build, to either surrender or fight, to either be defeated or to rise. It is not an easy path. It is not for the weak, not for those who are looking for an easy life. But for those who choose to rise, for those who refuse to let pain define them, there is a reward beyond anything they could have imagined. There is a strength that cannot be taken, a clarity that cannot be shaken, a purpose that cannot be ignored. Many of the greatest leaders, the most inspiring figures, the people who have changed the course of history, were not those who had easy lives. They were those who had known suffering intimately, who had faced loss, rejection, failure, hardship beyond what seemed bearable. But instead of letting it break them, they let it shape them. Instead of letting it silence them, they let it give them a voice. Instead of letting it close their hearts, they let it expand their capacity to love, to understand, to lead. They rose from their pain and became who they're meant to be. There's a calling on your life, something that only you can do, something that only you can bring into this world. But to reach it, you must first go through the fire. You must first be refined, be strengthened, be broken open, so that the deeper parts of you can be revealed. The pain you have endured is not random, not meaningless. It is a part of your journey, a necessary part of your transformation. It is molding you, preparing you, sharpening you into the person you are meant to be. There will be moments when you want to give up, moments when the weight of suffering feels too heavy, when the thought of continuing seems unbearable. But those moments are the turning points, the moments that define you, the moments when you must choose to rise. Because on the other side of that pain, beyond the struggle, beyond the exhaustion, there is something waiting for you. Something greater than what you have known, something stronger than what you have been before. Your pain is the proof that you are still here, that you are still standing, that you have not been defeated. It is the evidence of your resilience, the mark of your strength, the sign that you are capable of more than you ever believed possible. It is not a weight to carry, but a force to propel you forward. It is not a reason to stop, but a reason to push harder. There is no growth without struggle, no strength without hardship, no transformation without pain. It is the necessary process of becoming. And those who understand this, who embrace it, who refuse to let their pain be wasted, are the ones who go on to change their lives and the lives of those around them. The world is full of people who have allowed pain to make them small, who have let suffering define them, who have chosen to live as victims of their past. But you are not meant to be one of them. You are meant to rise. You are meant to take what you have been through and turn it into something that matters. You are meant to become the version of yourself that exists beyond suffering, beyond fear, beyond doubt. Everything you have been through has been preparing you. Every hardship, every disappointment, every moment of struggle has been building you. It has been equipping you with the strength you need, with the wisdom you require, with the endurance that will carry you through. It has been shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. The choice is yours. You can let your pain be the thing that keeps you stuck, or you can let it be the thing that sets you free. You can let it define you in weakness, or you can let it define you in strength. You can let it make you bitter, or you can let it make you unstoppable. There is something inside of you that pain has awakened. Something that cannot be silenced, something that cannot be ignored. It is the fire within you, the force that refuses to be defeated, the part of you that knows you were made for more. It is time to listen to that voice. It is time to step into the power that has been forged through your suffering. It is time to rise. Failure has a voice, and it speaks in the moments when you are most vulnerable. It tells you that you are not enough, that you have tried and fallen short. That no matter how hard you push, the outcome will always be the same. It whispers in the silence, convincing you that success is for others, that you were never meant to rise, that you should accept your defeat and stay down. It makes you question your worth, your abilities, your dreams. It makes you believe that the struggle is pointless, that the setbacks are final, that all you will ever know is disappointment. But failure is a liar. It is a deceiver, a shadow that distorts the truth, a voice that only has power if you listen. The truth is, failure is not the end. It is not a measure of your worth. It is not proof that you cannot succeed. It is a necessary part of growth, a teacher that refines, a force that strengthens. Every person who has ever accomplished anything great has known failure intimately. They have felt the sting of rejection, the weight of disappointment, the exhaustion of trying again and again with no visible progress. But what sets them apart is not that they never failed, it is that they refuse to let failure define them. They refuse to let it convince them that they were not worthy of success. There is a battle that takes place within the mind when failure strikes. It is not just about what happened, not just about the mistake made, the opportunity lost, the door that closed. It is about what failure tries to make you believe about yourself. It tries to plant seeds of doubt, to make you question your abilities, to make you wonder if you were ever capable in the first place. It tries to make you compare yourself to others, to look at their success and assume they must have had something you lack. It makes you feel small, unworthy, incapable of rising above. But failure only wins if you allow it to change your perception of who you are. If you let it convince you that you are not worthy of success, then it has succeeded in breaking you. But if you refuse to accept its lies, if you choose to see failure not as a final judgment, but as a stepping stone, then it loses its power. Success is not reserved for the flawless, for the ones who never stumble, never struggle, never fall short. Success belongs to those who fail and rise again, those who refuse to surrender to defeat, those who are willing to endure the process of trial and error until they break through. It belongs to those who see failure not as a curse, but as a guide, pointing them toward what needs to change, what needs to be refined, what needs to be improved. Every setback is a lesson, every disappointment a redirection, every closed door an opportunity to find a better path. The only real failure is giving up. The only true defeat is letting go of the vision, walking away from the dream, deciding that the fight is no longer worth it. The moment you accept failure as final, you hand over your power, you give away your potential, you settle for less than what you were meant for. But if you hold on, if you refuse to be defined by your lowest moments, if you choose to keep moving forward despite the struggles, then success is inevitable. The world is full of people who stopped too soon, who allowed one failure, one rejection, one disappointment to convince them that they were not meant to succeed. They walked away when they were closer than they realized. They abandoned their dreams because they mistook a delay for a denial. They let failure convince them that they were not enough. But the truth is, success does not come to those who never fail, it comes to those who never quit. Every success story is built on a foundation of setbacks, every achievement born out of perseverance through hardship. The ones who rise are not necessarily the most talented, the most intelligent, the most gifted. They are the ones who simply refuse to stop, the ones who understand that failure is not a sign to quit, but a sign to adjust, to learn, to grow. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, moments when the weight of failure feels unbearable, when the thought of facing another setback seems too painful to endure. But those moments are the ones that define you. They are the moments when you must choose whether to believe in yourself or to believe the lies that failure tries to tell you. They are the moments when you decide whether you will let your mistakes break you or build you. The easy choice is to surrender, to accept defeat, to stop trying. The hard choice is to keep pushing, to keep believing, to keep working toward what you know is possible even when everything around you seems to say otherwise. Failure does not mean you are unworthy. It does not mean you are not capable. It does not mean you should abandon your dreams. It is a test, a refining process, a necessary part of the journey. Every person who has accomplished something worthwhile has had to overcome failure. They have had to face rejection, to deal with criticism, to endure moments when success seemed impossible. But they kept going. They refused to be convinced that they were not worthy. They chose to see their failures as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. They used their setbacks as fuel rather than excuses. They understood that failure is only a chapter, not the whole story. Your worth is not determined by your failures. It is not measured by how many times you fall, but by how many times you get back up. It is not proven by your perfection, but by your perseverance. The world may try to tell you that success is for a select few, that some people are simply destined for greatness while others are meant to struggle. But that is a lie. Success is available to anyone who is willing to endure, who is willing to push through failure, who is willing to fight for what they believe in. The only difference between those who succeed and those who do not is the decision to keep going. If you allow failure to dictate your future, you will never see what you are truly capable of. If you let one rejection, one mistake, one setback convince you to quit, you will never know how close you were to breaking through. The path to success is not a straight line. It is full of twists and turns, obstacles and detours, moments of doubt and discouragement. But every challenge faced, every failure endured, every lesson learned is shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for what is ahead. The struggles you face now are not meant to stop you, they are meant to refine you. They are building the character, the resilience, the wisdom you will need when success finally comes. There will be times when you look at others and wonder why their journey seems easier, why they seem to reach their goals without the same struggles. But comparison is a distraction, a thief of focus, a trap that convinces you to doubt yourself. You do not know their full story. You do not know the failures they have faced, the battles they have fought, the moments when they too wanted to give up. The only thing that matters is your journey, your progress, your willingness to keep moving forward. Failure is painful. It hurts to fall short, to invest time and effort into something that does not work out. It is frustrating to put your heart into a dream only to see it crumble, but pain is temporary. Disappointment is temporary. The feeling of failure may be intense in the moment, but it does not last forever. What does last is the decision you make in response to it. Will you allow it to define you, or will you use it to push forward? Will you let it convince you that you are not worthy, or will you stand up and prove that you are? The voices of doubt will come. The thoughts will try to take hold. Failure will try to convince you that you are not good enough, that you do not have what it takes. But those voices do not tell the truth. The truth is that failure is a part of every great success story. The truth is that the only way to truly fail is to stop trying. The truth is that you are worthy of success, capable of achieving your dreams, strong enough to rise above any setback. The only thing standing between you and everything you desire is the decision to keep going. The decision to refuse to be defined by failure. The decision to believe in yourself even when no one else does. The decision to get up again and again until you break through. Until you break through. Until you break through. Until you break through.